So here we have a question from Basic Concepts of Chemistry, the very first chapter. And let's see the question first. What is the volume of CO2 gas obtained? We need volume on the complete combustion of 30 ml of propane gas. Okay. The very first thing, what is the formula for propane gas? Prop is for 3, so it will be 3. And ane, the general formula for ane is CnH2n plus 2. So it will be 3 into 2, 6 plus 2 is 8. So C3H8. This is the gas that we have, and we have to do the combustion reaction for it. Let's write the reaction first. C3H8 in the presence of oxygen, it will produce CO2 and water. Perfect. The very first thing is to balance the reaction. Very important part. So in this reaction, we are going to balance carbon first. So we have 3 carbons in propane. We need to multiply CO2 by 3, right? We have the next thing is hydrogen. We have 8 hydrogen in propane. So we have to multiply water with 4. 4 into 2 becomes 8. Okay. The last element is oxygen that is left. On the product side, you have 3 into 2, 6 oxygen in CO2 and 4 oxygen in water. So in total, you have 10 oxygen atoms on right hand side, that is on the product side. So we have to multiply O2 with 5, right? Okay. Now taking care of the stoichiometry, you have to deal with this question. So can I say that 1 mole of C3H8 is going to react and form 3 moles of CO2? Make sense? Just by reading the stoichiometry? Okay. See, they are asking us the volume of CO2. We need to find the volume of CO2 that has been produced when we are doing the combustion for 30 ml of propane, right? So if you remember the Avogadro's law, what does the Avogadro's law states? Avogadro's law says that if pressure and temperature is constant, right? If pressure and temperature is constant, then volume is directly proportional to moles. The calculation that you do with moles, same calculation can be done with volume as well, right? So here we were talking about moles. Now using Avogadro's law, can I convert these moles into volume? Can I say that 1 ml of propane, when it undergoes combustion, then it will produce 3 ml of CO2? Make sense? Very similar. 1 mole of propane on combustion produces 3 mole of CO2. On the similar parallel basis, by using Avogadro's law, I can say that 1 ml of propane will produce 3 ml of CO2. Perfect. Now using this, can I say, I'll write this in a statement that 1 ml of propane will produce 3 ml of CO2, right? Now I have 30 ml, right? The volume given for propane is 30 ml. Let's multiply by 30 ml on both the sides using unitary method. I can say 30 ml of propane will produce 3 into 30 ml of CO2. So the volume of CO2 is 90 ml that is being produced in this reaction. So this is going to be my final answer. And if you look at the options, you have option C as 90 ml, which is going to be the final answer to this wonderful and simple question. Okay, so here we have a question from structure of atoms. So let's see the question first. An element has atomic number 29. Okay, by practice we know it is copper. Okay, it belongs to the period X and group Y. Okay, the period is X and the group is Y. The value of 2x plus y will be. Okay, so you have to find the numerical value of 2x plus y, right? So let's write the electronic configuration, and then we'll find to which block does it belongs, and accordingly we'll figure out what is the period and the group. Let's do it. So 29, I'll assume that I don't know it is copper, but it is 29. Okay, so if you write the electronic configuration, it will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, and then you have 4s2, 3d9, right? If I follow the Aufbau rule, it will be like 4s2, 3d9. But because we know this is a special case and there will be an electronic transition from 4s to 3d, so it will look like 4s1 and 3d10, right? This is what the electronic configuration looks like. And because the last electron is entering D subshell, so obviously it belongs to D block. And we know that copper is a D block, 3D series element. So for D block, what is the rule? See, this question is an opportunity. We will try to recall all SPDF from this question only. Okay. So for D block, if you want to calculate the group, what is the formula for that? For D block, you have to add electrons of Ns plus electrons of N minus 1 D. So here if you add Ns is 4s1, so I'll say that group will be 1 plus N minus 1D, that is 3D, 10. 1 plus 10, so group will be 11. And the value for group is Y. So this becomes your Y. Perfect. Okay. So for D block, what is the value for period? If you want to calculate period, you have to look for the maximum valence shell, right? And if you observe 1, 2, 3, 4, 4s, 4 is the maximum valence shell. So valence shell here is n is equal to 4. So your period is x. So your x becomes 4. You have to calculate the value of 2x plus y. What is 2x? 2 into 4 plus y is 11. 8 plus 11 is 19. This is the answer to this question. So option B, you can clearly see option B is the correct answer. But before we close this question, I'll just quickly revise for S block, right? So we have a question from molecular orbital theory. Let's see the question first. Which of the following facts regarding change in bond length, okay, is correct? Fine. And you have 4 options. Increases in going from N2 to N plus, decreases in going from O2 to O plus. Okay. Decreases, increases, and decreases. Okay. So basically you have 4 species, that is N2, N2 plus, O2 and O2 plus. And you have to find out the increase or decrease in bond length. Fine. See, there are 2 ways to do this question. One is the very conventional method. Write the electronic molecular electronic configuration of N2, N2 plus, O2 and O2 plus. Observe the change in bond order. Accordingly, you can calculate the bond length increase or decrease, right? There's another way. We will do it by both the methods. The another way is a smart method. Let me give you a cheat code for it. You might also already knowing it as well. Okay. So that is pure observation, right? See, you have N2. You are going from N2 to N2 plus, right? And you have O2. You are going from O2 to O2 plus. If you calculate the number of electrons, you have 14. 1 electron is removed, you have 13. Here 16, 1 removed, 15. We know by observation that bond order for N2 is 3. If you remove 1 electron, obviously there is no chance of increase in bond order. 3 is maximum in general. So bond order has to decrease. It will become 2.5. How am I doing this? I'll tell you. This is the cheat code. 14 maximum bond order, 3. Your transition is from 14 to 13 and 16 to 15. 16 we know bond order is 2. Oxygen, this is the case of oxygen. 2. 15 is 2.5. And then you move to 14 is 3. And then again bond order at 13 is again 2.5. If you move to 12, that is C2. Bond order is 2. That is a different case, that there you have two bonds and both the bonds are pi bond, but that is totally different. We are only concerned here from 16 to 15 and 14 to 13, right? This is observation. In exam, I'm not going to write anything like that. I'll just do that in my mind, okay? So you are moving from 16 to 15 and 14 to 13. In both the cases, in 16 to 15, the bond order is going from 2 to 2.5. That is, bond order is increasing. We know this, that bond order is inversely proportional to bond length. If bond order is increasing from 16 to 15, that means bond length is decreasing. So here bond length is decreasing as you are moving from O2 to O2 plus. If you talk about N2 to N2 plus, bond order 3 to 2.5, again the bond order is decreasing here. So bond length will increase, of course, right? So can you look at the options? Increase. Let me write it. In case of N2, bond length increasing. In case of O2, bond length decreasing. N2 to N2 plus, bond length increasing. O2 to O2 plus, bond length decreasing. Can you just figure it out? Increasing N2 to N2 plus, decreasing O2 to O2 plus. Exactly matching. Answer has to be this. Look for others. Decreases in N2 to N2 plus? No. Increasing in both the case, decreasing in both the case? No. So answer is option A. This is one method. This is what you have done with observation. We have observed that bond order at 14 is maximum, and when you are moving from 14 to 13, bond order decreasing, bond length increasing. 16 O2, bond order is 2. You are moving from 16 to 15, 2 to 2.5, bond order increasing, bond length will decrease. Another way is you do it the conventional method. You write the molecular orbital configuration. For N2, the configuration will be sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2. Because it is 14, sp mixing will take place. Pi 2px is equal to pi 2py. 2. How many electrons till now? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We have 14 in N2. So sigma 2pz2, right? This is N2. Let me write it for O2 as well. O2 number of electrons are 16, 8 into 2. So sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2. Now because it is more than 14 electrons, so there will be no sp mixing, and we have sigma 2pz2 pi 2px2 is equal to pi 2py2. Till now you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 and 16 you want. So pi star 2px is equal to pi star 2py. I usually avoid this method because it takes a lot of time. So, but still we need to learn this as well. Till here you have 14, 15, 16. Okay. Now observe this thing. You have the highest molecular orbital as sigma 2pz in N2, which is a bonding molecular orbital. Now when you are going to form N2 plus, you are going to remove an electron from bonding molecular orbital, and if you remove an electron from bonding molecular orbital, obviously the bond order will decrease and bond length will increase. If you observe O2, you have highest energy molecular orbital as pi star 2px and pi star 2py. If you remove one electron and form O2 plus, obviously the electron is removed from anti-bonding molecular orbital, right? And if you remove electron from anti-bonding molecular orbital, obviously the bond order will increase and bond length will decrease, right? So that's how also you can say that option A is the correct answer to this question. We have done this question both the ways, by observation and by the conventional method. Use which one you find more convenient. Okay, so option A is the correct answer. Thank you. Here we have a numerical type of questions. Let's read the statement first. If the pressure of the gas contained in a closed vessel is increased by 20% when heated by 273 degrees Celsius, then its initial temperature must have been, okay, and you have four options in degree Celsius and in Kelvin, right? Okay, you have to find the initial temperature. So let's assume few things, that initial temperature T1 is T and T2 will be like 273 degrees Celsius higher or 273 Kelvin higher. You can say anything because this is a difference in temperature. So same for degree Celsius and Kelvin. So I'll say if T1 is T Kelvin, then T2 will be T plus 273 Kelvin, right? And they're also talking about pressure. So if I say P1 is P, then P2, pressure is increased by 20%. So I'll say P plus 20 by 100 of P. That will be P plus 0.2 P, which is 1.2 P, right? This is the final pressure. And because they are saying closed vessel, so can I say volume constant, right? So if volume is constant, so which law you are going to use? Boyle's, Charles, Gay-Lussac's, Avogadro. Tell me. When volume is constant, it is Gay-Lussac's law. Gay-Lussac's law. How do I remember it? I remember it with few abbreviations. BT, Boyle's law, temperature constant. CP, Charles law, pressure constant. GV, Gay-Lussac's law, volume constant. And Avogadro law is like pressure and temperature, ATP, pressure and temperature, ATP, temperature and pressure, both are constant. So ATP. So here we are going to use Gay-Lussac's law where volume is constant. So what do we know? That pressure is directly proportional to temperature, right? So P1 by P2 will be equal to T1 by T2. Let's put the values. Let's put the values. P1 is P, right? And P2 is 1.2 P. Perfect. T1 is T Kelvin. Why I'm focusing more on Kelvin? Because I see similar options with just the difference of unit, degree Celsius and Kelvin. So I'm keeping Kelvin again and again in my mind. So T2 is T plus 273 Kelvin. Okay. We need to solve this. P gets cancelled with P. So you have 1 by 1.2. So I can remove this decimal. I can write it 10 by 12, which is 5 by 6, is equal to T plus T upon T plus 273. If you cross multiply this, so it will be 5 into T plus 273 is equal to 60. Calculation becomes simple. So 5T plus 5 3 15, 7 5 35 36, 5 2 10 13 is equal to 60. Cancel 5T 60. T will be 1365. Now tell me the unit. Will it be degree Celsius? Because I can see 1365 degree Celsius and Kelvin both in the option. Will it be degree Celsius or Kelvin? Because we are using temperature in absolute terms. Obviously, it is going to be Kelvin. The final answer to this wonderful and simple question. So option D is going to be the right answer to this numerical question. Thank you. Here we have a question on enthalpies of reaction. And let's read the statement first. The standard enthalpy of formation of N2O and NO are 28 and 90 kilojoule per mole respectively. Okay. the enthalpy change of the reaction, this is the reaction that is given to us, is equal to. Okay. So by using the enthalpy of formation of N2O and NO, you have to find out the enthalpy change of this particular reaction that is given to you, right? So let's write the reactions first. For formation of N2O, I can say it will be N2 plus half O2 will give you N2O. All the states are gas, gas and gas. And delta H for this reaction is given to us as 28 kilojoule per mole. See, all the units are kilojoule per mole, and in answer also, in options also, we are given kilojoule per mole. So I am ignoring it for a while, right? I won't write it again and again just to save the time. This is for N2O formation, right? Now, if you talk about NO formation, it will be half N2 plus half O2. That is going to give you NO. Gas, gas and gas. And delta H for this reaction is given to us as 90 kilojoule per mole. See, if you observe reaction, the final reaction that is given in the question, N2O is on the reactant side. But in reaction, I'll call it as reaction 1. This as reaction 2. This will become delta H1 and delta H2. So in reaction 1, N2O is on the product side, but you want it on the reactant side. What you have to do? You have to reverse reaction 1. So I'll say reverse of reaction 1. One more thing. You want 2 N2O molecules, but in reaction 1, you have only 1 N2O molecule. So of course, you have to multiply that by 2, right? Okay. If you look at NO is on the product side, and in reaction 2, NO is on the product side. In this way, it is fine. But you want 4 NO molecules. So you have to multiply reaction 2 with 4. So reaction 1 will be multiplied with 2. It will be multiplied by 2, and reaction 2 will be multiplied by 4. So I'll write it as 2 into reverse of 1 plus 4 into reaction 2. So enthalpies has to be taken care of. So if you reverse reaction 1 according to Laplace-Lavoisier law, if you reverse a reaction, then the magnitude will remain same, but the sign will reverse, right? So 2 into reverse of 1, that will be minus 28, plus 4 into reaction 2, enthalpy of reaction 2. So it will be 4 into 90. So if you add it, if you just calculate it, it will be minus 56 plus 9 into 4 is 36, 360. 360 minus 56 will be 304, and of course the unit was kilojoule per mole. So the final answer is 304 kilojoule per mole. That is the enthalpy of this reaction. So option D is going to be the correct answer to this wonderful question. Thank you.